Shalom, family. This is the day that the Most High has made. We'll rejoice and be glad in it. How y'all doing? I'm back. It's been a minute, but I'm back better than ever. All praises to the Most High, the Messiah, and the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. So today I wanted to make a video on my experience growing up in the Islamic code, getting into the Illuminati, chakras, witchcraft, all the things that I have been involved in, because I'm making a video of it just like a visionary, and now I just want to speak on it just to like break it down and like put like different clues to the puzzles, or like put things that I didn't put in the video, or like go into depth of exactly what I experienced. So I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, and my father had a couple businesses, and he had went to a meeting, and he met with some brothers who had a tape, and it was a tape of, I think it was Elijah Muhammad speaking, or it was a tape from the Nation of Islam, and they was teaching them, how, to be a black man in America, and how to be Muslim most of all. And I guess he was hooked after that one video, that one meeting, and him and my mom got into the Nation of Islam, became Muslims, changed their names. That's why I have a Muslim name right now, legally my slave name, but I go by the name that the Most High has given me, Zion Shaya. And I went, well, when I was born, that's when they got into it. So I was like born into the Nation of Islam, and then afterwards they had met with a man who said he was Allah. He didn't say that he was the original Allah. He said that he was stepping in for the original Allah, the creator, and he came from the Orion belt, and he came from some star system, and he was just like filling in, filling the judgments and doing everything like that. And so they had left that and went with him because he thought that the United Nation of Islam, what he made, was better than the Nation of Islam. So he went and got a following and had certain businesses everywhere, had different organizations everywhere. So we moved from Baltimore to Cincinnati. We was in Cincinnati for a little bit, and then from Cincinnati to Kansas. And where Kansas was like the base area, they said that Kansas was like heaven. So we went from Kansas, and we had a school. We had different businesses, like I said, restaurants, sewing factories, made jewelry. And I was just like, I've been working since I was 6. I started working in a bakery. I started working in a bakery, making cookies and cakes and stuff, and pies and bean pies, because we were still like living off that Muslim mentality. I don't remember us really going into the Quran. I just remember us based on his teachings. Like, there was Sunday temple meeting every Sunday, then there was weekly temple meetings and conference calls and discipline classes and civilization classes, and even kind of like Sunday school. Like, they had us in the classroom, showing us different videos and watching movies and telling us to like to decode certain things. And but we would still had that Muslim mentality where, you would cook the pies and the cakes and things, and you would go out and sell them, or you would walk around. So when I came back to Cincinnati, Ohio, I started working in the bakery there. And then I also was, we would get up early in the morning, the children, and we would go to Walmart, and we would sell the cookies and cakes. And what's really crazy is we got all this money. Like, it was like a mission, like a goal, like a challenge. Like, we was really like, making the cookies, making the pies, the cakes, everything, the puddings. And we would go into Walmart, where we would go to certain places that will allow us to solicit, and we would sell the products that we have. And we would tell these Caucasian people, or we would tell the people that we were doing it for a youth program and for our school or something like that. But we didn't see none of the money. Like, we didn't never touch none of the money. After we got that money, it was put in a bag, and it was put in the office, the secretaries or the higher ups. There was different levels of authority. There was generals, secretaries, instructors, and all this other things. And then the leader, he had like 12 concubines, and he had 3 wives. He had like 4 or 5 wives, 12 concubines, over 50 children, like literally, and it was like crazy because they was always going on vacations and stuff, and we was just slaving, working it out. And so that was an experience. And then I had moved back to Kansas, in Wichita, Kansas. I was there for a little bit, and my sister had moved to Kansas City, Kansas, and I wanted to move with her, so I came back down to Kansas. And I lived in a house with a bunch of girls, and I had people who were my guardian because my mom was still in Wichita. Then she eventually moved to New York with my little sister and my little brother, and so it was just me and my older sister in Kansas. And we was living at this house, and with like 3 different couples and about 5 different girls. And first day I moved there, everything was cool, and then that night they woke us up in the middle of the night and told us to clean the whole house. And I'm just like, okay, maybe maybe it's just really dirty in here. But then I'm like, they was like really like, like depressed, like upset, like this was a normal thing. So I'm like, oh boy, what did I get myself into? Like, I just came to an abusive house or something. Like, I didn't know it was this bad. Like, they really wouldn't tell us exactly what was going on in these different houses. And we've been living with like multiple different people, going to multiple different houses since I was born. So there's always that person in the house that is the bully or, abusive. Like, I remember when I was about 5 or 6, there was this one woman that used to wake me up in the middle of the night and had me stand by the wall and hold paper, what is those things, those books, those where you find people's numbers at, or like they businesses and stuff. I ain't getting the name right now, but it was big books that I had to used to hold and just like stand for hours. I don't know why she had to do that. I don't know what was her animosity towards me or something, but yeah, they would like, whip us with paddles and belts and stuff. So it was like a lot of abusive stuff going on, and labor, child labor, and trafficking and things like that. But then a week after, I had turned 11, and that's when I knew they really didn't like me, because then they gave me vinegar for my birthday and a slither cake. Like, the cake was literally this big, and it was a chocolate cake. And I was like, dang, they had me doing standards every time, where it's like writing down, like, I will not do this. And I wasn't even that bad. I would just act out like when I was treated bad. And so they had different sleepovers, different youth outings and camping trips, and they wouldn't let me go on none of those things. Like, I don't know what I did to these people. Like, they really did not like me. Like, hate my guts. And so after that, I had went to I started to work in the warehouse. In the warehouse, this is where we started making jewelry. We made clothes and stuff, and the jewelry that I was making was with crystals. So we made crystal necklaces, crystal bracelets, crystal headbands. It was a whole bunch of crystal stuff. Like, I knew about all the crystals when I was about 12 and stuff. I knew their abilities, their properties, how to use them, and different things like that. It started from going to Muslim, and we started transitioning to metaphysics. We started working with the chakras. We had different meetings to where they would tell us to lay down and basically meditating and envision a white light, or a vision like the sun, and like put ourselves in there like an aura and everything like that. So we was learning meditation, we was learning about the crystals, metaphysics, and then also there was this youth class where they were learning how to use powers. They were literally like learning telekinesis. They were learning how, if you watch The Matrix, how they would bend the spoons. They were bending spoons. They were tapping into other consciousness and other universes and stuff like that. And they wouldn't allow me to do any of that. I kept asking, and it was like, no, it's not time yet. So I was with a whole lot of students that was either banned from the classes, or that was either not of age to do it at all. And so that was discouraging and depressing. I would see them, come back with all their things. I had found in a closet, as one girl, I found her spoons that was bent, and she hurried up and got it from me, and like you don't need to know what's going on, and like I'm just like, dang, what's all the secrecy for, And so I didn't know that they were not only tapping into different consciousness, they was also tapping into the power that the Most High gave me, and the whole time. And that's why I wasn't allowed in the group, because one time this girl came and she was like, we did a visionary thing, and your sister has seen you in a vision. And I was like, oh, for real? And once she told me that, she got in trouble. She was banned from the class, and my sister was banned from the class for a little bit. And I guess they didn't want to know, like, because when you like tapping into somebody, you can see them through your third eye in a vision. You can see who you're targeting. You can see who the energy you're pulling from. And so that's what was going on, and they didn't want me to know that. So I didn't even know like what it meant. I was like, oh, that's nice, but I heard them on because they was in these conference classes, and it was in like the speakers, they was in the auditorium, and I heard it during the speaker, like what other things that they were doing. And when I heard that, they also was like, they tried to shut down the meetings during certain times, and was like, oh no, turn off that speaker. Like, it was just really weird, the whole experience. It was like really crazy, and then so we started to get into different psychic abilities and as well. And they brought a psychic in there, and he was Caucasian. He was an Edomite, and he was like doing stuff with his hands. And he said he was a scientist, which is like different angels, different like fallen angels. And he was like, he was reading my future and my past, and he told me certain my gifts, my abilities, that had gifts from the universe. And I had a big mission and different things that I was supposed to do, and all this other stuff, and how to change my diet. Like, I literally, they said that I had different like diseases and disorders, like a wingworm, or anemic, or different stuff, like, so I can eat different things that everybody else wasn't eating. So I was on a couple diets. Like, I couldn't eat what other people's eating. I had to eat like all organic stuff, drink aloe vera, and all these different things. Like, I don't know why, like, just I guess to be healthy, or to like be my best self, or my highest self. But it was like, as a kid, you want to eat what everybody else is eating. You want to join a party with everybody else doing, but it was like excluded, and just sit over there so we could use you and take your energy, take your power, and keep you dumb. And like, they was putting so much witchcraft on me at the time. And like, most of this stuff I kind of blacked out. And now that I'm older, things is coming back to me, and I'm like remembering certain things. But it was a hard time for me, because even my father had left the organization, the community that we had, like when I was probably like 4 or 5. And that hit me really hard. Like, I went into straight depression. Like, I was just like sitting in dark rooms, always crying, just wondering when he gonna come back and everything. Like, I was real close with my father. And so not having him in my life, and then being surrounded by a lot of strangers, and then being abused by certain people. And then I had my first sexual encounter when I was about 7. And just wanting to be liked, and you going through the emotions, and it was crazy. But we eventually got out in 2012, and I started to go to school, and like, I didn't know nothing of the outside world at all. Like, I remember going to my first time in school, because we was homeschooled this whole time. Even when we wasn't homeschooled, we had a university in Kansas, and then in Wichita we was at home, literally, like learning different stuff. We was learning from the books that they made, some Muslim books, and just other teachers that were recruited into the organization. And whenever we was during the day, we were supposed to be in school, they would tell us don't go outside, or don't look out the window, so nobody asks like, why y'all not in school or nothing. So they don't ask no questions, so we don't draw no attention to ourselves. So like, the first time being in school, I was in 8th grade, And I was totally shocked. Like, I didn't know that that was how school was. I remember seeing my first fight and just like crying for the boy. I'm like, why they beating him up, that he was getting jumped or some stuff like that. I didn't know people fall. I didn't know like there was other races outside of so-called black people, outside of like the white people or the Edomites, who they told us was the devil. So that was shocking to me. And like that, I was still like advanced in my schooling and everything like that, because we did learn basic stuff, math, reading, and science, and all different things like that. So I just like kept quiet. I stayed to myself. I really like went mute for like 3 years. I didn't say nothing really, for real, because I was just like, I was so shocked and just depressed and just going through a lot. And you grow up in a whole different like gated community, and that's all and then you're used to that trauma environment, and then you come out and you in a whole nother trauma environment, and it was just like, it was too much for me. So after that, I had just fitted into society. I guess we all just merged in and just like forgot whatever that what was going on. And I went to school, and I went to college. I went literally to like just party, because I would watch movies. Like, I was always just watching TV. Like, if they didn't have me like cooking and cleaning and doing different jobs and stuff, I would just sit and watch TV every day. That was just like my comfort zone. So I would watch the different movies and stuff and see how they was doing stuff in parties and in high school. So that's what I wanted to experience. And so I had went to college in St. Louis, and it was good. Like, for the first time, it was like I was definitely partying. Like, it was lit. And then I just was getting heavy into drugs and alcohol. Like, I started wanting to smoke weed because I felt like I needed something to like make me feel better. And then I kind of got addicted, and then I got addicted to like drinking. I was drinking every day. Like, it was like a norm. Like, I would call my friends, and I was like, I got a couple bottles in my room, and I was just like doing all types of wild stuff, going to the kickbacks, going to the parties, and just being drunk, and then getting taken advantage of. Like, men just see you, you beautiful young woman, and they think they could just bring you a bottle and just try to do anything with you, or if you smoke, then you obligated to do this other stuff. And then you got other people who are frenemies who try to manipulate you and things. Like, it's crazy word out here. Like, anybody can get hit, anybody can get used. So that's what I went through. And I had went through my lowest point at that point, because I was showing up to majorette practices drunk. I was just showing my butt, excuse my language, just getting involved with different people, different men. And I had my boyfriend at home, and my family at home, and I started praying to God. I started reading my Bible. I started asking just to get me out of the situation. I didn't want to be in St. Louis anymore, and I definitely didn't want to be in college. I just wanted to, heal, get my life together. I started getting back into the chakras as I started reading the Bible, but then I also, at night, I would get into the chakras, and I would start to meditate again. I started doing hypnosis so I could forget a lot of the things that I went through. And when I was doing the hypnosis, it was just like when I was going to sleep, I would just play it. And, I would start to have certain dreams, and try to practice astral projection, try to open my third eye more, just doing different other things, reading a whole bunch of books. Like, I was half educated. Like, I always had good grades. Like, the drinking and alcohol didn't affect my grades. It just affected my performance, and it just affected like the people I was around and stuff like that. So I had then I came back home by the grace of God, and I got really sick. I had a stomach, something was wrong with my stomach. I had gastroitis. I can't remember the name, but I was in the hospital, and I got really sick. It was mostly because of the trauma, the mental abuse, the physical abuse, the sexual immorality, the all the drinking and the smoking that I was doing, and then just being in a bad space, I let that all take a toll on me. And so after that, I had went to my first witch store and started to get more into witchcraft. I started to, get the tarot cards, and I start to get more crystals and sage and stuff like that, and half healing, half wanting to dive deep into my shadow self, and shadow work and stuff. And from there, it just like it escalated so quickly. It felt like it just went by so fast. Everything that I was doing, to where I was every moon cycle, every festival, every what they call it, time of the month, and different things like that. Like they had like the different like summer solstice, winter solstice, whenever they had different retrogrades, whenever there was any type of new moon or full moon, I was doing rituals. And I had my candles, I had my sage, I had my different little spells. I was really like in it, and I had different I was doing readings first. I was getting readings from other people. And the thing is with these readings, like, you're opening yourself up for others to tap into your life. So basically they're telling you something that you already know spiritually, but they're just like, they're revealing by your current state where you will go in your future. So, you can make any decision can alter your future. So that's what they're telling you. And so I was like, I was loving it. I was feeding into it. And with my thing with these things is, it was never like one person with me. Like I would do all the meditations in the world, I would do all the shadow work in the world, but it was never an experience that I had with myself to where my angels or my ancestors or my ascended masters was like talk to me. If they did, it was like in a dream and I didn't know it, but I had to get outside like confirmation from other people. Like somebody was like, they was telling me how many angels they seen around me, and they was like, they couldn't really see all the different people who was around me or my ancestors that was with me. But I had Archangel Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel was like the top three. And then other ones didn't want to be seen. And it was like, it was kind of weird because all these things was like, it was like outside looking in. Like it was never something like I found out myself. Like I had to hear from somebody else, but I was trusting their word because it was something that I resonated with. And I didn't even like meditation. Like for real, I couldn't sit still. Like I was always antsy. I always felt like something was crawling on me. I felt like something was all over me. I just couldn't calm myself for real. Whenever I wanted to meditate, I just like focused on my breathing when I was going to sleep, and I would always meditate. I would go into meditation or hypnosis when I was asleep, and everything would happen in my dream realm, or when I was in the astral realm, things would start to happen. Just seeing certain past lives, getting different messages. My ancestors started working with me in my dreams, teaching me how to read tarot right, and teaching me witchcraft, teaching me, about the herbs and different things like that. And the thing is that I wanted to like emphasize on the ancestors, like some of them are demons, like for real. And others are your guardian angels, because we have some of them who ascend to the high heavens, and we have some of them that have gone to hell, and they want to use you as a vessel to live again. Like I awakened over 42 of my ancestors in a dream. I was doing the work, and I was starting to get into the African spirituality with the 7 African powers, what they call Ifa as well, and Haitian voodoo. And so I was doing stuff to where like I was burning ancestor money. I was talking to them. I had altars all over my house, just feeding them just certain food and getting different things for them and things like that. And the whole time, like I was spending mad money on these altars, on these so-called ancestors. And, I was trying to get support back in the thing that they gave me. They gave me some darkness, and they gave me some spiritual power. They gave me some knowledge. They made things, kind of made things to where they wanted to be. And like I said, I awakened over 42 of my ancestors, and when I did it in a dream, there was a whole lot of screaming. Like it was like no, no, no. Like they wanted me not to do it. Like other ancestors wanted me not to do it, and then the other ones was like saying thank you. And it's like I opened Pandora boxes, like I opened the gateway to hell, and it was like not most of my ancestors were not good witches and warlocks. So when I did that, it gave free reign for them to just do anything in my life. And I was portrayed by most of them because I had like a couple of them that were high witches and high warlocks in their times, and Freemasons, and they made pacts with Satan. And so they was like the next one, you know, down in a generation, you know, you can have their soul. So I guess I was supposed to be that soul sacrifice. I had got a couple readings from different Haitian voodoo that was like, yeah, you have magic in your family on both sides, and they see you. And so I was just like, oh my God, that's so good. Like I thought it was all like, you know, just like a fairy tale, like, you know, when they said it's not all love and light, like I understand that. Like I have the balance always, you know, but I didn't know how evil these spirits can get, and how they would just try to sell you out for money and power. And so after that, it was a rocky. I started to deal with a lot of demonic attacks in my family, demonic attacks in my house because I had opened the door. And the Ifa priestess, they tried to curse me like a lot. I had got one reading with my hand, and you can't let nobody know your life. You can't let nobody know your birth chart. You can't let nobody know your handprint, because they will try to steal your destiny. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to steal my birthright, my destiny, and also curse me at the same time. I wanted to just get like a reading from like my African ancestors and stuff like that, and then they was just like, they wanted me to do rituals. They wanted me to pay them that were in Nigeria, and they wanted me to get certain protection beads, and they wanted me to go to different rivers. They wanted me to go and, you know, pour libations and just do a whole lot. And when I didn't want to do most of the things that they didn't want me to do, then they would try to curse me. They first started cursing my feet so I can walk into cursed places and go descend to hell more. And then it was just like little things that was going wrong. And then I started to I had met who I thought was my twin flame, and I'm going to make a video about that because it was a twin flame from hell, literally. And crazy experience. Going to make a video of that. But then I started going to Reiki, and I had already learned Reiki halfway when I was born in this esoteric Islamic cult. And then and also when I was in school, because I went to school for massage therapy. So when I went there, I had met it from a friend of a friend, and everything was cool at first. Like we would put people on the table, put our hands over them, and just like read and try to see, you know, what was wrong. So I would always see like different chakras that was out of balance in my head by different colors. And I would have different feelings, like just telepathically knowing like what was going on with them. And so I guess they was intrigued by that, because every time we kept coming back, they would always ask us like, what would we see, or what message did we have for that person. And so I didn't know, like when I was on the table, that like the woman who was doing it, she was a high priestess and Ifa, and she was saying how they like got high level magic. Like she would have different, like she even went to Africa, and she would have a whole goat to sacrifice in her living room. But when the police came, when her babas, because those were the people who were trying to curse me, the babas, whenever her baba would come, then the police came, you know, to arrest them, or I don't know what was going on. There was a whole goat in the living room, and they couldn't see it. Like it was like invisible, like a cloak invisibly on them. And so I was like, dang, this is some real power. I'm like, dang, maybe I need to go to Africa after all, and, you know, get initiated there, because I was already initiated in the spiritual realm. Like, I remember going through my initiation. I remember just learning from the ancestors, the so-called ancestors. I remember having on all white, being in a room with a whole bunch of other women who were in all white, and they had different my spiritual teacher who was doing tarot, she would always pull different cards that was saying how we have to marry spirit. And so I didn't really think that. I thought that meant, like, becoming one in unison with myself. But there was actually, that was basically like marrying, Satan, so we were all in white, and so they was trying to, like, pick who was going to be the bride for Satan and stuff like that, and who was going to, get certain titles. And then there was this pool of water, and everybody was like jumping in, and there was a whole bunch of elders around us, and there was like different other people, and marine spirits and mermaids and stuff, and it was like in the forest, and then also in, like, by the big thing of water. And I snapped out of it. I was like, hold on, wait, what's going on? Because it was all happening in my dreams. It was happening in dreams and visions. So, like, I didn't really know, like, the extent of it. I was just going on to get along, just like having my own spiritual journey. And then they was like, they started talking in this, like, it was some language that it was like a alien kind of language, but I know that aliens ain't real, they just fallen angels. But it was like a ancient language that they started talking in, and it was like they put the spell back over me and told me to get in the water. And so I had jumped in the water, and that's how I was initiated the first time. But I wanted to go through the actual initiation on Earth. So after that, the woman was like, "Oh, I worked extra on your heart and on your head." I thought she was just like helping me heal my heart chakra and helping me, just with, mentally. And so I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And then that's when, after I had realized that she was because even when I was on the table, it was kind of like my heart was getting squeezed a little bit. But I'm just like, oh, maybe it's just like me. Like, how sometimes you squeeze it and you get it, like, kind of get it pumping. So I thought that's what it was. But, she was, like, damaging my heart. And then she was messing with my mind and my memories and messing with my mind. Like, she was always in my mind. And even in the dreams, like, I was, like, revealing, like, some high level, secrets to them. And, she was just sitting there getting all my information, all my knowledge, and just, like, real evil, just, like, smiling and everything like that. And so when I was there, I started to feel real tired. Like, I felt like I was around energy vampires, like they was sucking my energy for real. And I really didn't have much to say and everything. Like, I started saying less and less. And then when I realized that was all happening, and then they tried to take my crown chakra, and which is kind of like, the crown chakra is like your halo. So I kind of got real distance from God at that point, because I didn't adhere to the signs. I didn't, see what was going on. I didn't pay attention. And at that point, it just made me open for more attacks. There was the twin flame who attacked me, but he was like, "I love you, but I also want to destroy you." Like, what? So so that happened. And then God was still reaching out to me, trying to, get me back on the right path. But I just, I was just going through so much at that point. I found out the people who were in the Reiki circle, that was her group, which was like her little coven, that they was trying to use me for their own healing and for their own powers. But I still went, like, before then, I still went through with getting my Reiki atonement certificate. And she said that she was, going and just like, it was putting different things on us to where we can be more powerful in the spirit, and then also, like, unleash our powers, and then heal other people. And it was crazy, because afterwards, my hands was hot. While she was doing it, my hands was hot, and I was real antsy. And she was doing her different, her different ruins and her symbols, and saying different things, as above so below. And I felt like my crown chakra, I felt like heightened up there. I thought I could, like, tap into more, but then other people saying that how I had lost my crown chakra. So I don't know, like, if I lost it or if it was like more tapped in. But afterwards, she was asking us, like, I've been waiting for y'all for a long time. And she was like, so what is y'all spiritual name? And if you know, like, if you deep in spirituality, you're not supposed to tell them your spiritual name, because, you know, you can harm a person like that. Like, you can find out who they are in the spirit, and you can try to take them out. But, you know, after that, I was so delirious, and I'm just like super excited by what just happened, you know, thinking like I just leveled up, you know. So I told her one of my spiritual names that I thought who I was as a goddess, because it was like, you know, yeah, at that point I was like possessed with different Egyptian gods and goddesses. So, you know, I was working with them as well as the Africans. And when you working with all these different spirits, and even the voodoo spirits, like half of these fallen angels, they beefing in the spiritual realm, like they fighting each other. So like they fighting over you and who you gonna give your allegiance to. But yeah, so we all was telling her. And then after that, I just decided I wasn't gonna go back, because it revealed to me what was really going on in there. I knew it was war. Even the woman was saying, who used to go to church, she was like, you know, well, you about to fight like a war and everything like that. She's like, oh yeah, I know, I'm good. And he was like, no, like, she's like, I got many students. And she was like, you know, many people in her covenant. And she was like, the church one was like, no, this fight is kind of like it's like heavenly, because I had angels with me, you know. And I'm a child of the Most High God, and like, you put in your hand, you know, they touch not my anointed, do my prophets no harm. Okay, so I mean, I knew it was war at that night. Like, there was a blood moon. I had my candles out, like I was finna do like protection spells and send back to sender the evil eye spells and everything. I was still doing tarot. And so I seen the cards. I knew like who my enemies was at that point. You know, but you know, you're not supposed to, you know, you're supposed to pray for your enemies. You're not really supposed to fight fire with fire. So I kind of got some of the backlash, but also they got it even worse, because of God before us, who can be against us, right? So and then after that, I had went back to my voodoo teacher, because I had found her on YouTube, and she was working with the deities and things like that, and she helped me with my altars. And I was telling her, like, can you help me out? Like, I'll do this ritual. Like, I will always participate in certain rituals, like for prosperity or for protection, or like the crossroads and stuff. But I didn't never want to sacrifice an animal, but I was dealing with so much energies that I was just like, okay, I'll participate in this one. And I did that. I just paid. I didn't do it myself, like they did it. And then she was like, you gotta change your spiritual name. And she was like, you need a whole new reading. And I was just like, oh my God, it's just getting worse and worse. Like, and it was like really like trying to take me out. Like, I remember seeing my pictures, like my eyes was flashing, like my soul was like leaving my body. There was the twin flame talking about they have your body and your mind, and all they need is your soul. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, it was like legitly crazy, and I couldn't believe like this was going on. Like, I knew magic was real and dark magic and stuff, but they was trying to make it seem like, you know, you can embrace some darkness and have some light. Like, you can be balanced. You know, you don't have to just choose like the right path or the right hand path or the left hand path. You know, that's why I really love God, because he teaches how to do the narrow path, how to walk in righteousness, and how to not be ignorant of Satan's devices, and to also, you know, be wise as serpents but harmless as doves. But, you know, there's so much deception in the spiritual community and conscious community. Everybody doing all these things with the astrology and stuff like that, and it just going deeper and deeper. And so, you know, they was really trying to sacrifice me. I had got sacrificed 3 times. First time I was trying to protect myself, and so I thought like I was still like using candles and stuff trying to protect myself. I had put myself in a circle and a pentagram, and because that's how they taught us, like how witches need to protect themselves. But I had felt like a fiery hand on my arm, like I felt the devil touch me. and it was like the devil almost had me, and I was fighting him off, but I almost went to sleep, but I ended up waking up, and that's when I felt the first tug on my soul. And then second time I was doing another ritual dealing with the voodoo, because they was saying how they was trying to somebody was trying to release the devil, and how we needed to fight against the churches. And they said they made it seem like the angels were the assassins, you know, and we had to like fight against the angels. So I had did something with the church. And after that, I felt that night I was I felt really low, like I just knew like what I just did wasn't right. And I felt the second tug on my soul. And then the third time I had ended up going to Las Vegas, and I already started, you know, repenting. I already started praying to God, you know, the Lord's Prayer. I started praying. I started watching different prophets. I started reading the Bible just a little bit, and getting the word into me. So when I went to Las Vegas, there was a lot of people who were, the night before I had seen the Freemasons at a graveyard, and I seen them at a graveyard, and I seen them doing some type of ritual, and I seen it said Yadaboth, but it was Satan's name in the occult. So I was like, okay, let me pray, you know, and watch what I do when I'm in Las Vegas. So I was on all alert, but then I helped went to get some edibles and drinking and stuff. And you know, the enemy can use anybody, you know, your family or people that's close to you, just to get to you. So that's what happened with me. And these witches came in droves. These witches and warlocks came out in droves and was cursing me to my face. They was using sign language, because that is a high level. Masons created sign language, and they was cursing me with different sign language. They was cursing me with different words. They was doing different things to try to tap into me and try to weaken me. And I was like on my last leg spiritually, literally, like they was making fun that I was kind of crippled in the spiritual realm. And clouds came out. It got real dark. It was about to rain. It actually did rain. And then at the end, I stood my ground. I faced them all, and the sun came out, and they all like went away. And I knew that was the Most High. Like I felt so much peace after that. And then when I went home that night, I had seen in my third eye, I seen the devil, or the person that was being used as the devil, as the twin flame character. And he didn't like that that I had seen him. And so he tried to take my soul again. And so that was the third time I felt the tug of my soul, and I literally was restored after that. And I was just like laying in bed, and I was just like crying, and I was just telling my man, I was like, they trying to kill me, whatever. And I had, right before that happened, I had watched a video of God speaking through a prophetess. And so that happened. And then when I went to sleep that night, then after that, I had a dream that night, and I seen the Messiah with a baseball bat knocking off demons from away from me. And it was so many like black demons just being launched at me, and he was like knocking them off, and he was telling me, he gave me the bat and was telling me my turn. It's like, you need to fight now. And so I was like, okay. I started to fight him off. And then the next day, we were still in Las Vegas. We was going to different casinos. We was going to different places. And then the night after, Poseidon and the devil and the twin flames and a whole bunch of other people who had teamed up and tried to steal my powers and hit me with a whole bunch of water. And it was like really hard in the spiritual realm. And it hurt so bad. I woke up, and it's weird to explain what actually like happened. It was like I was running out of a casino. Like this is probably what was all happening in the spirit that day. I was running out of casino, and there was like this water man coming after me, and he hit me with a whole lot of water, and then the twin flame and the devil was holding me back, and I tried to summon some power, and they tried to take my power away from me. And then when I woke up, I had felt the bruises on me, like from the hard water. Like, you know, back in the day when our people was getting hit with holes, like, I'm sure that's how it felt. Because then I was just like, it hurt so bad. And then next day, you know, we was still there. It was the last day. I didn't want to do nothing else. I didn't want to smoke. I didn't want to drink. You know, I was just ready to go. And so I was like, that night I had another dream, and it was like, I was like, what do I need to do, you know? And it was like different spiritual teachers, and was like, get out, like, get out of the occult, you know. So I was like, you know what, fine, because y'all can have this. Like, you're not gonna keep doing me like this. So and then also I seen the Holy Spirit, and you know, it was talking about you know, this is it, like, don't go back, like, you know, I'm giving you power, and I'm giving you strength, and you know, basically choose this day who you will serve. So I was like, fine. Like, when I get back home, I'm throwing out my altars. I'm praying day and night. I'm repenting. I'm about to clean out my whole house. Like, I'm about to, like, really get this stuff together. Like, you know, save my life 3 times. God, I hear you. Period. So after that, the warfare was pretty intense, because after that, the warfare was pretty intense, because when you leave these certain things, you know, they don't tell you that you also need to close the doors that you open, that you need to, you know, repent, cover with the blood, cancel contracts, renounce all the things that you've been involved in, because the door's going to be still open, and the demon's still going to have legal grounds to do things in your life. And so I was dealing with a whole bunch of that stuff, just trying to protect my house, just trying to protect my family, you know, just I ain't gonna lie, I was scared. I was scared for my life. It was a very emotional time. Like, everything was hectic in my life, and you know, God and Messiah and the Holy Spirit was like my rock, was like my comfort, like really, like my father, like really, like, you know, helping me along the way. Like, I always had a loving soul. I always wanted to help other people, you know, and even when I was doing readings, you know, I know that the angels was tapping in, the good ancestors, and then, like, I had my guardian angel and who were ancestors, so they were still helping me on that side, you know. They was, you know, giving me messages, giving me reassurance and things like that. But most of all, I just, like, was cutting everybody off in the spiritual community. You know, I felt like everybody was in on it. Just paying attention to little things, and just was going to live my life over, and the threats became a bit much, so I decided to go to church. And I was going to make a video, like, separate video of my experience in church, because I had went to this one prophetess, and I had told her exactly what happened, and so I thought she was going to, like, help me. I even wanted to become a apprentice of hers, because I knew that I had, like, prophetic dreams and visions, stuff like that, and I knew, like, with the way they make it seem in churches that you have to go through different levels of hierarchy, but she wasn't interested in what I had to say at all. And so she cast out the kundalini spirit out of me, and witchcraft and other things. She put her hands on me, and she did that stuff, and I guess she didn't like what she's seen, or didn't see how much the Most High had within me, had his spirit within me, and what my mission for me to do. You know, it was kind of like a David and Saul moment, you know. So, like, if you know the Bible, like, you know, like, that David was taking over Saul's position as king, or, like, you know, when Elisha wanted to get the prophetic gifts and of Elijah when he transcended. So afterwards she was like, I was all on the floor because I guess she casted out some things out of me and like sliced some things in spirit. I don't know what was going on, but I ended up being on the floor. And they're like, they talk about spit because you're supposed to, like, demons come out through spit, they come out through the ears, they come out any opening in the bodies where they come in and where they can come out. So, you know, I'm trying to do all that stuff, but no spit was coming out because the whole time I was like crying. I was releasing everything, the demons that was within me, and different demons was getting cast out all around. And so I was laying on the floor, you know, crying, everything like that. And she was like, and don't go back. She threw the pictures of my family on me. I traveled all the way to go see her. She threw the pictures, real disrespectful of my family, because she said bring pictures so she could pray over it for our families. And she threw the pictures on me, and she was like, and don't come back. And don't go back, and gave me the most evilest eye ever. And even her people like helped me up and gave me my pictures. And she gave me some type of spray, some anointing water spray. And so that's what happened then. And then afterwards I probably went to like church like 1 or 2 times, but I realized that it was witches in the church as well. So I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to, you know, get into my Hebrew Israelites foundation, my roots, and, you know, just talk to God and just pray, read the Bible, and get into it. And that's where I've been at for right now, just staying loyal, just staying true on my path, getting elevated like no other, because more and more knowledge is coming to me, and with more knowledge comes more responsibility. And also just knowing like to just keep repenting, you know, even if my family won't listen to what I gotta say, even when I release this video, won't listen to what I gotta say. Like, I get laughed at a whole lot. A lot of people don't even believe what I went through, but it's so real. And like, I had to pause this video like 3-5 times because I did start crying one time. But it's really emotional, but it's also healing. Just, you know, just know that I made it through all that, and like stronger than ever. And, you know, just the second chances, the grace, the mercy of the Most High, and just elevating you no matter what, and telling you, like, you know, reassuring you that you're a child of God, and that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against you shall be condemned. I still be fighting covens, I still be fighting Freemasons, I still be fighting these witches and these warlocks, but I haven't lost the battle yet. Like, all praise to the Most High, because it's His Spirit, not by my might. And something comes at me, like, I've had many assassinations on my life, I'm still like fighting like till my last breath. And I know that I'll ever be for good, because I'm protected and I'm covered by the Most High. Shalom.